Welcome to Car Ray Rob. I'm Ray.
I'm Rob.
And today we're doing our APB movie news roundup. We're going to do 4 stories here. Maybe not the biggest news of last week, but definitely 4 things that me and Rob thought were real interesting and we wanted to talk to you guys about. Here's number 1.
I feel like saying that they're rebooting the Halloween franchise again is almost redundant.
It doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, it seems like they're constantly doing that now. So, after the many sequels and the Rob Zombie reboot, they're at it again. John Carpenter, though, is at the helm in a sense. He's not directing it, but he's executive producing it.
He's overwatching everything.
So I think that's really good. The big question, though, is who is going to direct it? Well, we have that answer.
We found out.
That'll be David Gordon Green from Pineapple Express. Yeah, I think that's Prince Avalanche. It's kind of a weird, possibly inspired pick.
Yeah. I mean, he's bringing something to the table that was different than some of the competitors. I mean, he's got a comedic background. He's bringing Dan McBride on to write with him.
Which is very interesting.
Very interesting.
They were floating Mike Flanagan from Hush for a while. I've been hearing that. And then I guess they just decided to pull that 180. I thought he would have been great. That was a great psychological thriller. And that was a really good feel for the Halloween
Seemed
movie.
like a good fit.
Yeah, definitely a good fit. But John Carpenter said in a statement that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride pitched them their take, and he was sold. So, I
think if you're a Halloween fan, you just got to put your trust in John Carpenter's decision here. He thinks he's going to get something new to spark the franchise, and that can be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point, we're kind of got burnt out after the Rob Zombie takes.
Yeah.
And I think we could use something new, but I think we still need to kind of stick close to that original movie, at least somewhat. And maybe these guys can do that.
And John Carpenter's still going to probably do the music?
Yeah, I think it hasn't been officially announced, but yeah, I think
tied together.
He's pretty. That's what he's doing now anyway. He's got 2 records out. So
okay.
But we'll see.
All right, number 2, Rob, is Guardians of the Galaxy news. Apparently, they've been doing their test screenings. It's coming out in early May, and it's scoring the highest of any Marvel movie ever.
Yeah.
It's scoring a perfect 100. Now, to be fair, I guess their test screens they call them mostly like friends and families. They don't just do general audience, so it's not like an apples to apples comparison to a normal movie.
Right.
But it is an apples to apples comparison to other Marvel movies, and I think before this they said Iron Man 3 and Avengers were like mid to higher 90s, but Guardians of the Galaxy is coming in at 100. So to me, what's interesting about this is expectation building. Like, can too much hype be bad for this movie?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And test screenings, I think, it's such an interesting beast, the way that they're ran and the data, how it's collected and everything. And I do agree that hype can kill a movie. Now, we'll see how that hype carries over into the marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know how much general audience people even know about test screenings and things like that. So we'll see what kind of marketing push they do, and when the critics start seeing it, if they start concurring, I think that's when the hype really starts to begin.
And still, Guardians of the Galaxy, the original, was great. But the big thing it had going for it was people had very low expectations.
I had rock bottom.
If anything is good here, I'm going to love it. And that's why people walked out thinking, just so overjoyed at how awesome this movie was. Now it's going to be the complete opposite. People are expecting the world. They're expecting 100 rating.
Yeah.
And if they don't get that, it's going to leave you feeling flat. Even if it still might be better than the original, but you might not leave the theater feeling like you left the first time.
Well, the sophomore slump is a real thing, whether you're talking about records or whether you're talking about movies. Sophomore slumps, the sophomore slump is a real thing. So it's hard to overcome, and it's great to hear early on that they may have done that. But I think until people are really sitting in that audience, in the theater,
until Rotten Tomatoes gets a piece of you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see where it ultimately falls. So this isn't really big news, but it's interesting news. I read that the Coen brothers are doing a polish on
the Coen brothers
on the Scarface remake script.
Don't know if I love that.
It's interesting to say the least. I know big name screenwriters polish scripts quite often.
Yeah, they probably have too.
Absolutely. And a lot of times you don't even know that they have. So again, this isn't big news, but it's just interesting because it kind of makes your mind swirl about what would a Coen Brothers Scarface look like.
And also, would they go into direct it, and would they just go full-on Coen Brothers Scarface movie?
Well, it's true. At this point, Anton Fuqua dropped out.
What'd you call me?
This was, a while ago, but he has not been replaced yet. I don't think this necessarily is any indication that the Coen Brothers are interested or in the running to do this, but again, it would be fun. I'm sure we'd end up with John Turturro as Tony Montana.
The Jesus?
The Jesus.
Say hello to my little friend?
Exactly. Nobody the Jesus. So, we'll see. Again, not big news, just interesting news.
Yeah. All right, Robin, our last story for this roundup is... Looks like Matt Reeves is going to be the guy for DC taking over the Batman movie. Yeah. We talked about that a little bit a couple weeks ago, that he was a name. Now it looks like they're in final negotiations. Maybe that's leverage either side. Who knows? But there are two backups that they have listed in case things fall through. One is Fede Alvarez.
All right, small guy, Don't Breathe, Evil Dead. Okay.
Probably getting some push from Don't Breathe, so that's cool. And the other guy is Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that is the other end of the spectrum. You go from the guy who never had a Hollywood budget in his life to Ridley Scott, who
67.
as one of his movies costs as much as all of Fede Alvarez. So
what I think is interesting too is, first of all, if I'm the Batman movie fan, I'm praying for Matt Reeves right here. I mean, I really want DC to lock this up. DC needs Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
If they don't get him, I think it tells you a lot about where the movie's at with who they pick. Because if they pick Fede Alvarez, probably means they like the movie well enough the way it is. They think Ben can probably really help run it still.
Yeah.
And they're picking a guy that maybe they can control a little bit.
Yeah, you've seen that. Mark Webb is Spider-Man, Josh Trank in Fantastic Four. It happens. The
Those
studio
didn't necessarily work out that well, though.
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of times it doesn't work out. No. But, sometimes you see the opposite. You see the big name guys who have problems with the studios as well. I mean, Jon Favreau, Sam Raimi, both of those guys had issues with the studio. So, I mean, it happens on both sides. Too. Yeah, it happens on both sides.
Yeah, and so if they pick Ridley Scott, I think that kind of tells you more that they're willing for him to take control of the movie more. Like, he's probably going to pull some of the reins from Ben Affleck. He's probably going to muddy up the script or start the script over to some degree again.
Sure.
So I don't know if you necessarily want that pick. Like, it's a great name to attach to the movie, but I don't know if it's a good sign for the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great fit. He brings a lot of baggage, not bad baggage, just experience. And like you said, he might want to meddle with the script. And I don't think the studio wants to do that right now.
Time-wise, I just don't think
I think that's their biggest thing. And I think that's the best issue, or the best case with Matt Reeves, is he can hop in right now. He's wrapped up with Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, she's done a great job with that
series. I think he really is the sweet spot of that middle ground. Those movies are big enough that this, jump to the Batman movie is not going to be a big deal for him.
No.
Somebody like Fede Alvarez, I can see they get overwhelmed. Pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, any one of those three guys could do the right job, but just seems like right now Matt Reeves is the fit. If I'm a DC fan, which I am, I'm hoping Matt Reeves gets this. I think he can do the most interesting take, and it probably is, like we've said, the best fit for this movie.
Yeah, I think he'll breathe some new life into their film universe in general, which is sorely needed right now.
All right, everybody, now it's your turn to join the conversation. Write in the comments below. Tell us what you think about Matt Reeves.
Tell us what you think about David Gordon Green.
Then click the subscribe button so you can catch our next video. Until then, this is Car Ray Rob. I'm Ray.
I'm Rob.
And Rob, on your deathbed, you're going to be granted total consciousness.
So we got that going for me, which is nice.